Uh, Quick trade recap. I took one trade today. It was a long on NQ. It was this right here. It's pretty clean. Very simple trade, but yeah, let's get into that. So, going into the day, I do recognize that bigger time frames are extremely choppy. And initially, when I like within like freaking 10 seconds of getting on the chart, I was like, yeah, there's probably going to be nothing today. I haven't really been trading much this week because there just hasn't been a whole lot of good opportunity, in my opinion. But I was assuming that today was going to be the same because of this right here. We're just generating like liquidity at both sides of the market. And I mean, this is basically what we looked like pre-market. So you can see we've just got stacked highs here. We've got stacked lows here. And we've leading up to CPI low from yesterday. And then there are literally multiple SMTs on both sides of the market here. There are bearish SMTs at the highs and there are bullish SMTs at the lows. A lot of chop. NQ and ES are not correlating very well at all right now. So with all that being the case, why did I still take a trade and why was I still bullish bias going into the morning? So I was bullish bias because on days like today, where like say the 15 minute or the 1 hour is extremely choppy and it's just very difficult to see like what price might want to do, since we're just leaving SMTs on literally both sides of the market, and like I said, there's no correlation on days like that. Don't like simply kind of disregard this. I mean, maybe use like still overall context from the higher time frame, but you want to just focus more on internal price action or just don't trade at all, which is also never a bad thing. But when I see basically the reason that I was bullish today is because, like I said, this is what we looked at like at market open, and I recognize okay, NQ is very close to these relative equal highs, and we are displacing higher after sweeping out this internal low, right? So I see internal manipulation pre-market. Okay, hang on, what the heck? I see internal manipulation pre-market. So I'm viewing this as turtle sweep, and we get internal sweep followed by a clear and obvious displacement higher. We get like a change in the state here, and then I think there's like a inversion fair value gaps on the 5 minute. Yeah, see this big 5 minute here gets ran through. So this I can work with here when we're cutting off all this bull crap over here. Just looking at this, I can low-key work with this because this is just a buy model, right? We've got sell side of the curve here. We've got internal manipulation, displacement back inside the range, inversion for value gap, clear displacement higher, telling us that we likely want to go run this high and then this high here. So I see these relative equal highs, and now I'm like, okay, since NQ is literally right next to this, I just want to see a continuation higher at market open, and anything after that I don't care for and I'm not confident in, right? Because of all the SMTs and the discorrelation between NQ and ES, once this high gets taken, this is all I'm confident in enough to take an entry off of, if that makes sense. Like I don't care to see shorts after this or a continuation long because I don't have enough confidence that we go take this high as I do in us taking this high. And that was basically my thought process, is that this is the only thing that I cared for today was this buy side level. So at market open, I recognize that this 5 minute here is intact, but we've actually low-key already tapped it. So I wanted to zoom in and find a more, I guess, specific key level that the market could potentially bounce from, and that is this 3 minute here, this untapped 3 minute. So I mark this out, and then also this is a 5 minute here. And the reason that I like this 5 minute is because it's in line with equilibrium of this price leg here. So if you measure from the low to the high, as you can see, this 5 minute is perfectly in line with 50% of this price leg. And I know that the market really loves to rebalance to equilibrium here. So yeah, at market open, what's this? We get this ideal open lower with immediate manipulation, and we kind of go through the 3 minute, but I don't think the 3 minute candle actually closes. I think the 3 minute candle closes inside of here, but yeah, notice 3 minute closes like right here pretty much. Yeah, so I mean technically this is an inversion, but I really don't care. Like I'm much more confident in the overall model than a candle being inversed by 2 points. So yeah, I don't really care about that. But what ends up happening here is we get a really nice 15-second inversion. So let me pull up this right quick. Hang on. Here is this 15-second. Notice 15-second time frame here. This was the inversion, and I ended up taking my long right here. So I enter my long about right here, and my stop is at this low. And I'm like I said, I'm simply just targeting this next form of buy side, and this trade plays out real nice. And since then, we've just exploded higher. Clearly, we were very bullish, and yeah, we go deliver buy sides. So honestly, not like a pretty dang clean day in terms of price action. Like providing this was the higher time frames, we were very choppy. But like I said, When it's extremely choppy, you don't necessarily have to, try to figure out where the 1 hour or the 4 hour is going. Just zoom into the internal price action and then use logic. Like what I mean by logic is when I see, like basically here on the 5 minute, like this is another thing that caught my eyes. Look at this 5 minute bullish fair value gap from Asia session open last night. Notice the market never gets through this. Like we fill it here, we fill it again, we fill it again, but the market's refusing to displace lower here. And then also remember, this is a bullish SMT. It's actually this right here. I'm pretty sure it's a bullish SMT. So bullish SMT on the bigger time frames, and then I guess this was yesterday. Yeah, yesterday we leave this high here, and then the Asia session leaves this high here, and then we sell off. But mind you, this is low key a protected low because it is that SMT. And then I see this 5 minute just holding bullish all night, and I see us put in an initial low. Pre-market sweeps the low, so I see this internal manipulation, and then obviously the reaction of this low being swept is this obvious displacement higher. So I'm now viewing this as a market maker buy model, this being buy side of the curve. And like I said, at market open, I just wanted to see a rebalance into a key level. And what does NQ do at market open? We immediately rebalance to equilibrium of this price leg, which is also this 5 minute fair value gap here, and this was also a 15-minute fair value gap, as you can see right here. This bullish 15-minute that opened. This opened up literally the second that the market opened at 8:30. Is when this 15-minute fair value gap opened, and then yeah, just take that first 15-second inversion, and then here are the executions. I think I showed them already, but I enter off this 15-second inversion, and I'm just taking my position off at buy side liquidity, and yeah, strong displacement higher here, and then also ES, same story. I think I already said this too, but yeah, ES, I just wanted to see a move towards these three relative equal highs, and then ES also tapped equilibrium of the price leg right at market open. So if we measure from this low to this high, as you can see, ES comes and we tap equilibrium, and then we get a really nice reaction higher. So yeah, pretty obvious bias today, very simple. And yeah, I'll see y'all in the next recap.